This is my updated tutorial for the Cortex Power revisit skip used in Crash 1 100% speedruns. Doing this skip allows you to complete Cortex Power skip in one visit instead of two, as the blue gem from the level Toxic Waste is intended to be used to enter the extra path. This skip can be broken down into two major parts: the entrance, which is getting into the blue gem path, and the exit, which is exiting the blue gem to get back into the regular part of the level. The skip is possible in all regions, however the PAL version can do it a bit differently. If you are interested in seeing how it's done on PAL, you can check out WhitePaaws or ENSG's runs, and no masks are required for this skip. So first we have the entrance part of this skip. We have to get into this part of the gem path without having the blue gem platform to take us there. Years ago, Kojiro figured out a way to get up this wall and then do a camera trick to get Crash over there safely. So to get up this wall, we have to get Crash hugging it diagonally in a certain spot. In my previous tutorial for this skip, I mentioned that it's like random where the clip is that you need. Now I kind of understand it better. When you're doing runs and you approach this level, or just do this level from start, from a fresh entry, it will be here. Like sort of where this middle strip of brown meets the part where it turns white, and it's like a cross. But if you die, I have noticed that, like, if you die in practice and you're practicing this, it can be in the middle, but right now it's not, and we know that because Crash falls when you try and spin. But yeah, when you're on a run, it'll just be here. Now, to get up this wall, we have to do a bunch of jumping and spinning to get on the ceiling. So, get into that position shown earlier, do a max jump, spin, and then after that do another max jump, spin, and then begin mashing jump and spin. And if you do so, Crash will get on top of this wall and on the ceiling. So, max jump, spin, you'll get stopped on that second jump by like an invisible ceiling, but you just do a bunch of mashing with jump and spin, and you'll get through it and get on top. Like so. And then you keep holding diagonal. But the mashing to get up that ceiling is a bit strange. It's not necessarily a competition of how fast you can mash. It's more like you want to press the buttons quick, but you really want those jumps and spins to matter. You want them to come out. You want them to actually do something, if that makes sense. If you practice this entrance enough, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, once Crash is over the wall, you keep holding that diagonal for around half a second, I'd say. Then hold left for around half a second, and then tap down. And you may have to tap down a few times before the camera comes over here like that, depending on your exact inputs, but that's fine. And you'll see Crash is in the ground like this. Now, why is he like that? It's because when we were moving Crash over here, this part of the level was not loaded. But now it's loaded, so Crash is just inside it, but he's not dead. All we have to do to get back in the level is just jump and make sure we land somewhere on this platform. Now, depending again on your inputs, you might be like over that acid or even in the acid, but that's fine as long as when you jump out of it, you land here safely. Because as soon as you jump, it's hazardous again. Also worth noting that once you're up in the ceiling, if you hold left for too long or too little, you'll actually be embedded in the left or right wall respectively, and you usually won't be able to get out. Sometimes you might be able to jump and spin a lot and get Crash out of there, but usually you will not be able to. Like this. Or you just die like that, yeah. You want a sweet spot again, just hold left for around half a second and then do your down tap or down taps, and you should be safe to go. Also, I guess worth noting, this really shouldn't happen to you, but if you hold left for way too long, you'll actually go out of bounds on the left, and you can't really get out. I don't remember if there even is a way to get back into the level if you do that. But one fun fact I'll say is that if you are out of bounds and you backtrack too far or you progress too far, your game will actually crash. But don't worry, that's not something you'll have to worry about in a run at all. Now, one more thing about the entrance. I think I see a lot of people do wrong if they are to fail getting up the wall, is they get spin timered, which will happen, but they don't wait for their spins to recharge. And if you don't know what I mean by the spin timer, it's an important mechanic in this game to understand. It works differently than in other Crash games. It's where you can spin 5 times in rapid succession, but after that, Crash starts getting dizzy. There it was 6 because I recharged 1 during that time. But yeah, so it takes 2 seconds for each spin to recharge, so if you want a full spin timer, that's like 10 seconds you have to wait. You can get up this wall with 4 spins, but I don't really advise it. So what people do is, if they fail it, they get spin timer, but they only wait like 4 seconds or something, and then they try it again, and they get caught in an endless loop of failure. So that's very important to keep in mind. Just be patient if you fail it. Wait to get your full spin timer back, and then you can get another clean shot at it again. Now we have the exit part of this skip. We have to get out of this gem path without the blue gem to take us over there. But luckily there is a part of this wall here on the left where there's a small clip we can get on to get just enough grounding to do a submarine jump, or a sub jump for short, to clear the gap. If you don't know what a sub jump is, it is where you start a spin before falling off a ledge and press jump within 10 frames after the spin completes, which allows you to get a mid-air jump. It can also be done off boxes, certain enemies, and small clips where you can get grounding, like for this skip. A very important tip for sub jumps is that you cannot press X during the spin. If you press X during the spin, you will get no jump. So first, we want to go over here on the right, on this little area past all these electric things, and we want to go all the way right, just hug right to make sure Crash is all the way on the right. We're going to use this black and yellow strip on the wall as a visual aid for getting Crash into the right position. What we want to do is we want to make sure there's no yellow under the right ear. Now I mean from our perspective, not Crash's right ear. We want to make sure there's no yellow under his ear, so once you get over here, hold right, and you keep tapping down until there's no yellow under his ear, but not any more than is necessary. You don't want to hold down, you know what I mean? Because if you're like all the way over here, it's not going to work. You want to do small taps until there's no yellow under his ear, like that. That's perfect. If I were to tap down a couple more times, the clip won't be there that we need to sub jump off. There's a little bit of leeway, it's not pixel perfect or anything. But yeah, if you are tapping down and you accidentally hold down for too long and Crash goes down a ways, I recommend tapping up and then resetting the setup, just to be safe. Unless you really want the time saving or willing to risk it. So once Crash is in the right position, what everyone does is they do a pause to set up switching to up left. This isn't actually necessary for this skip or upstream skip, but everyone just does it because it's what Koji did. I guess it adds a bit more safety and consistency for switching directions. Just do it if you feel comfortable with it. So yeah, we just pause, hold up left. We're going to jump towards the wall while holding the diagonal up left, and we're going to do a spin shortly before touching the wall, which will allow us to do a sub jump because we're going to get a bit of grounding off that clip, and then just switch to upright to be able to clear the gap. Like so. Now there's lots of tips for this sub jump. You don't want to spend too much time on that clip because you want enough momentum to clear this gap. That's sort of a mistake I see a lot of people do. Let's see if I can kind of demonstrate that. Yeah, kind of like that. I've seen people do it even worse, where they just spend too much time on the clip and they have barely any momentum to clear the jump, and it's either really clutch or they fail. And another thing that's worth noting, there's actually multiple clips here. There's at least one other clip, and this clip is one you can actually bonk your head off of when you're doing the sub jump, and you won't be able to clear the gap. To avoid that, just delay your sub jump a little bit. Luckily that's pretty easy to do because, well, sub jumps are 10 frame window and it's a 30 FPS game. So once you've cleared the gap and are back in the normal part of the level, what you do next depends on how you routed this level, of course. There's one box back here. It is faster to break this box from the front, so like after you got the second checkpoint, but if you didn't break it, then you have to go back here. It is faster to break it from the front again, but it can be a little risky, especially if you're not familiar with how this section works with this falling platform and when this platform comes. To practice the exit part of the skip, there is a checkpoint there. As you can see, I'll respawn at it on the J version, and that's because they added a Taunt bonus to this level, and this is the third ton of token box in this level, and so if you practice this level when the level is completed, or just from a password with this level completed, there'll be a checkpoint here for easy exit practice. Alright, so that's Cortex Power Skip. This skip actually has a very interesting and detailed history behind it for both the exit and the entrance. I recommend watching Hubbledon's Crash 100% speedrunning video if you are interested in learning more about it. At this time, Cortex Power Skip is very well understood and quite consistent, so I advise all runners to make an effort to learn this skip and use it in runs. It's also consistent enough where if you fail it in a run, I recommend re-entering and trying again rather than coming back with the blue gem. Thanks for watching.